All right. Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Broker Agent Mastermind or BAM session this week. Let me get into our teaching time for today. I wanted to talk to you about how to create so many leads for your business that your head will be spinning, and really how to be a business hunter. And in particular, I want to introduce you to my three dogs, not my three sons, my three dogs. First, I've got a dog named Zig. He is a wire-haired pointing griffon. I have another dog named Riley. She is a golden retriever. And I have another dog named Amos, and he is a basset hound. I don't know if you can see him. He's on the couch behind me. He's sleeping. He's sleeping on the couch. So I don't know how we became a three dog family. We never intended to have three dogs. Actually, Riley is 16 years old, and we thought she was going to die last year. And we were grieving because she's in the top 1% for lifespan for golden retrievers. We never thought she'd live this long. And it's all the treats we've been giving her. It must be the secret to longevity with dogs. So here she is. She's still kicking. We actually took her to a vet last year, and they were recommending that we put her down because she was getting real sick about a year ago. And it was almost like when she heard those words, she snapped out of it, and she's like, "Hey, no, I'm fine. I'm good." "What do you mean put me down? I'm good." And she got healthy real quick. So anyway, it was funny. We love our dogs. They're great. They're all different. Zig is a hunting dog. He was born to hunt. It's unbelievable. He wakes up hunting. He goes to bed hunting. He's continually focused on hunting. He can't think of anything else other than hunting. He's always looking out the windows, looking for squirrels, looking for rabbits. Whenever we go for a walk, he's hunting. He's not walking, he's hunting. He is so completely obsessed with hunting, it's unbelievable. He's especially squirrels and rabbits and small furry animals. He loves those. We have a couple ducks at our place. We're in Florida right now, and there's a pond right across the road. He's completely fixated on the ducks. The other night, I was going to bed, and he was watching out the window in our bedroom. We actually have a door that goes to the outside on our bedroom, and he was watching out the windows. I'm drifting off to sleep, and then all of a sudden, he let out a roar like at 11:30 at night, and he obviously had seen probably a raccoon or something like that. So I let him out in the backyard, and he's running around like just going crazy hunting. So Zig is a born hunter, okay? So our other dog is Amos. Not so much of a hunter, but he is a sniffer. He is a born sniffer. Basset hounds, I don't know if you're aware of this, they have the second best sense of smell of any dog that's around. Bloodhounds are number one. Basset hounds are close behind them. And I forget what the numbers are, but they're like 1,000 times more perceptive to scent than we are as humans. It's unbelievable. He lives to sniff. He would rather smell food than eat it because he just loves. Now he loves to eat, but he just loves to smell. And when he's out walking in our backyard, or if we take him for a walk, he is just so immersed in sniffing things out. And the thing that's funny about him is he finds things in the lawn that you would never even realize are there. Like he can smell things. Our other dogs, they don't have any clue. And he's going around in our lawn. All of a sudden, he's turned up with a snake, or he's turned up with a mole, or some other type of some dead thing. Because he can smell it. I've never seen any dog that can sniff things like he does. And he can pick up trails from animals that have long left the scene. So it's a superpower. His superpower is definitely sniffing. Now, Riley is of a different type of dog. She's a golden retriever. They're supposed to be hunting dogs, but she's not really a hunting dog. Zig is a hunting dog. I never realized the difference until we got Zig. It's like, oh, that's what a hunting dog is. Riley isn't a hunting dog. She is a loving dog. She's a born lover. Everyone loves Riley. Anyone that knows our dog Riley, everyone loves Riley. They all gravitate towards her. She's like an angel with fur. She loves everyone. They love her. She's the most relational dog I've ever seen. So she's a lover. She is the sweetest dog you'll ever meet, and everyone loves Riley. So three completely different dogs, three completely different ways to life. Now, what I was thinking about, this has almost everything to do with lead generation for us as business people. Okay. So let's talk about Zig. Zig is the hunter, right? He is always prospecting, always looking, completely obsessive. So Zig's a hunter. As a real estate agent, there are times when you need to be a hunter, be prospecting, be always looking for deals. A hunter is going to have an instinct where you wake up in the morning and you're immediately thinking about getting your next deal. You're thinking about, what can I do to grow my business? What can I do to reach out to people? So Zig would be in the category of the hunter, but then another type of lead generation would be the sniffer. Okay, always looking where no one else is looking, able to find treasure from nowhere, creating opportunities where none exist. That would be the sniffer. So you want to be a hunter, but you also want to be a sniffer. You want to be sniffing out deals where no one even realized they existed. Of course, Riley represents the type of lead generation that would be the lover. Okay. Always building relationships, always there for others, seeking connections all day, every day. And I know many of you fit into several of these different categories. So maybe the hunter, you're calling expired leads for sale by owners, internet leads, you're doing cold calling. So you're hunting, you're trying to drum up business, going for the low hanging fruit, but also the high hanging fruit, and you're doing what you can to build your business in proactive ways. Some of you, you're following kind of a sniffer approach, and that's great. With the sniffer approach, I would be thinking in terms of things like circle prospecting. So circle prospecting is where maybe you have a listing, or there is a listing in a neighborhood, and you're calling people or sending postcards to people in that neighborhood that they've never said anything. You don't even know who they are. They've never said anything about wanting to sell their house or about having a buyer, but you're trying to sniff it out through reaching out to that neighborhood. So circle prospecting is a way of doing that. Or I've heard of people who send letters to neighborhoods. We actually had this in our Facebook group. Someone was talking about it, but an agent sent letters to everyone in the neighborhood and said, "Hey, I've got a buyer looking for a house like yours in this neighborhood. Give me a call if you'd like to set up a meeting. We can talk about maybe my buyer buying your house." So this is a person, an agent that didn't have a listing, but they're trying to create a listing by finding a buyer who's looking in certain neighborhoods, and then they're contacting the people. So they're trying to create business out of nowhere where there wasn't business before. Or I've seen people who will send brochures or postcards to an apartment complex. These people haven't necessarily said they're looking to buy a home, but reasoning says there has to be some of these people in here who are tired of renting and they're ready to own. So that would be sniffing out business where it didn't exist before. Now, the lover, maybe some of you are lovers. Now, here's here's what I want you to do. If you're listening to this, I want you to take your hands and put them together. Okay, put your hands together. All right. So if you look at your hands, if your right thumb is on the top, that means you're a great thinker. Okay. Now, if your left thumb is on the top, that means you're a great lover. Okay. So Some of you are great thinkers and some of you are great lovers. Now, if you put your hands together and both thumbs are the same, not one is on top of the other, that means you think you're a great lover. Okay. So anyways, as far as prospecting goes, the lover, the golden retriever, this person is constantly building relationships that end up turning into business. So they're working their sphere of influence. They're attending networking events. This is a golden retriever. They're out there trying to build relationships. They're actively involved in social media, but not just scrolling. They're actually using social media to help build relationships that help to build their business. These people are constantly involved in the community. They're going to Chamber of Commerce events. They're going to whatever types of networking events might be out there. Maybe they're involved just in community things like coaching soccer, or maybe they go to church where they're involved in some kinds of PTA organizations. So these people are always building relationships, but then they're thinking about it proactively to turn those relationships into business. So the question is, are you a hunter? Are you a sniffer? Are you a lover? And here's the secret. Here's what I want you to understand. The best type of prospecting is when you are actively engaged in all three of these categories. Okay. So there's probably at least one of these categories that you're better at than the other categories. Okay. That's great. Fan the flame, keep building that. And there's probably some of these categories that you're not as good at as others. And I would say work to strengthen that. You want to be able to have several different streams of leads coming in. And you don't want to rely on just one. You want as many as possible. So if you'll work on developing yourself as a hunter, develop yourself as a sniffer, looking for opportunities where others aren't seeing them, and developing yourself as a connector, a lover, a relationship person, then you'll see your business grow like crazy. And so much of it has to do with mindset. Okay. And the easiest way for me to demonstrate that this has to do with mindset is because, and I know this is kind of a bad illustration, but let's say you knew that you had some kind of a terminal disease, and they said the only cure for this terminal disease is if you can get a listing by Friday. That'd be nice, wouldn't it, to have that easy of a cure? But let's say that someone took one of your children hostage, and they said the only way we're going to return your child is if you get a listing by Friday. Fortunately, that type of thing won't ever happen, and I know that's kind of morbid, but sorry. But if your life was depending on it, or if one of your family members' life was depending on it, and you had to get a listing by Friday in order to rescue that life, you would do it. You would figure out some way to get a listing by Friday, right? And that's how we know it's mindset. If you're not getting a listing by Friday, it's because it just wasn't quite important to you enough. And so I would encourage you to really think through, what would it take for me to get a listing by Friday? If my life was depending on it, what would I do to get a listing by Friday? And I would submit to you, it's probably going to be a path of one of these three categories of hunting, or maybe it would be a combination of all three. So, all right, that's my teaching for you today. Hopefully that's helpful. Thank you, everyone. Have a fantastic week, and let us know if we can be a help.